The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.
Tyler Diedrich, class of '08 from Hilton Central High School and St. Bonaventure. I've seen you on the Hilton sidelines at football games, and I'm glad you came in to sit down on the Big H Podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, you're welcome. And, this is a podcast all about Hilton and Hilton's history. And even though you're probably one of the younger guests, your mother works in the district. I think did they both go to Hilton? Okay. Jeff is your dad? Okay. I saw a nice picture of them and on your, I think it was your Facebook, and you had a nice dedication to them that they did something right. Well, presently you're working at 13 WHAM ABC, and you're their digital content manager. Talk to me a little bit about what you do day to day.
Mostly it's writing for the website and sharing that on social media. News comes in throughout the day, I'll write that, turn that into a web story. A lot of it is editing web stories that the reporters write or others write at our station. We get a lot of content that comes in from national feeds that I will share on our site, on our social media pages also. Do a lot of YouTube stuff, just sharing our content on that. That's most of it, and it's never boring, which is the best part about it.
That keeps you busy. So the website and social media. So that's YouTube, and what other platforms do you?
Facebook's the big one. And we sent everything that goes to Facebook pretty much goes to Twitter too. That's less of a priority now, but it's mostly keeping the website updated, trying to get some new stuff out on YouTube every day, and just making sure that everything that we gather that's newsworthy is making it on our website, most of all.
And do you make that decision if it's newsworthy, or are there producers that?
It's kind of a team effort. I mean, ultimately, when it's on the website, it's up to me. I mean, there's some stuff that we get on any given day that just doesn't translate well to the website, and there's some things on the website that don't necessarily translate to TV too.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to, when you to gauge if it's picking up?
Yeah,
viewers.
We've got the real time data right in front of me that I can look at, that I use to kind of decide what's at the top of the page, move things around a lot throughout the day, and kind of use that to decide whether, how important is this next time it comes up.
And in this age, it seems like everything is immediate. Back in the day when I was growing up, it was newspapers. Yeah. So you had the next morning, you would get up and read the newspaper. Is it challenging with that immediacy?
Yeah, because you lose some accuracy when you do that. When you're trying to get things out quickly, and you're trying to compete with everyone else, things don't always get done well. It's unfortunately, it's a lot of quantity over quality sometimes. I have tried to make it the other way around, quality over quantity. We've done a decent job at that, but it's far from perfect. That's just the way it is.
So you want to be first, but you also want to be accurate. With the website, did you have any experience in college on how to create websites and how to negotiate websites?
Not developing a website, but with the content. I was the editor-in-chief of the newspaper at St. Bonaventure, and a sports editor before that. We actually really didn't have much of an online presence. We had a website, which actually that was one of my last projects I worked on, was getting us a new website. But we focused more so on the actual print version of it at the time. So I had a little bit of experience with with that. Not a ton.
And so, Bonaventure, what years did you attend there?
2008 to 2012.
Okay. So you said that you were editor in chief, you were sports editor, and we also spoke off the podcast that you did some work for the men's and women's basketball team. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we had a live TV truck at St. Bonaventure that we used to broadcast men's and women's basketball games. So I did a little bit of play-by-play for that, for both the teams, did a handful of games. Some other roles, producer, trying to remember what else. We also had a couple times, or several times, when one of the bigger networks was broadcasting the game, and they would hire some of us in to do some of the other jobs behind the scenes as kind of freelancers. Live stats, the timeout coordinator, the person who signals when we're back on air, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of odd jobs like that.
So you said some bigger networks. Name some of those.
At the time, it was like CBS Sports Network, or like some of the regional sports networks. Like when Dayton would come to Bonaventure, it would be like Fox Sports Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Trying to remember if there were any others. I think Time Warner Cable Sports, it was called at the time, was doing some of them. It wasn't ESPN or CBS Network at the time. I think they do some more of the games now, actually.
Okay. So when you were doing that, and you'd have those bigger networks, would you have to volunteer, or would they actually pay you guys?
It was paid. It was a paid freelance gig.
So that experience must have been also pretty good, and also putting some pocket change.
Yeah, that was good.
So you said you did some play-by-play for men's and women's, or just one sport?
I wasn't the actual play-by-play announcer for the men. They had one guy who did it, but there were a few times he had to miss, so they called me to fill in for him a couple times, which was kind of an honor. And I did a handful of women's games also. That was all students. It was a rotation of students for the women's games.
I mean, I don't think people out there that they like to listen and watch sporting events, tell me they don't understand the prep that goes in behind it.
Yeah.
You just don't walk into a game and start talking. Tell me a little bit about the prep for those games.
What's nice about that is that the athletic department comes up with a nice big pamphlet of information that tells you everything. Every stat about everything. Doesn't mean everyone reads everything, and I was the editor of the newspaper at the time, so I knew a lot of the information to begin with. But there's a ton of information. I probably didn't prepare as well as I could have at the time, but I was just kind of calling the game. And fortunately, I had a great analyst with me who picked up a lot of the downtime when I didn't have anything to say. He was great.
Now, was the analyst also a college student, or?
He was a professor at the time. His name was John Watson. Unfortunately, he died not long after I graduated. He was a professor at Bonaventure, and he had played and coached in New Zealand, I believe.
Okay.
Overseas for some time, and he had played in college. And he was awesome. Like he could have been a network analyst.
He liked that Bonaventure feel, though, right?
Yeah.
I would think that being an analyst coming from the player coaching helps a lot.
Yes. Explain the X's and O's. That's not my specialty. I'm good at calling the action, but guys like him were good at breaking down what's going through the heads of these players and coaches at any given time, especially in basketball when there's those timeouts. There's not action for you to call.
Mm-hmm.
Let them take over.
Oh, that's a good point. And basketball is one of those fast games too.
Yeah.
Things
change by the second.
Sure do. And he also said that you worked as a producer.
Yeah, that was when I started at Channel 13. I was a producer for my first, 9.5 years until I came into this current role. Did a little producing at Bonaventure too on the basketball telecast. We had our broadcast, the head of the broadcast program. His name is Paul Wieland. He was a longtime public relations director for the Sabres. He was a director for college basketball telecasts that were broadcast regionally for a while. He had a lot of different roles. Brilliant guy, hilarious. He was the director for the broadcast, so I mostly just followed what he was telling us to do. But he was great.
Forgive me, I've heard that name. What's he doing now, or did he move on after that to do other roles?
That was his last job before retirement. He died a few years ago, but he's probably best known for his time with the Sabres, and he was known for his April Fool's Day pranks that he pulled every single year.
Can you give me one?
Yes. Among others, I don't know where, there's so many. There was one year that the best one is when it was in the NHL draft one year. He was in the war room, whatever it was called, with the general manager of the Sabres. It was the later rounds of the draft. It was dragging on. They're drafting guys who probably aren't going to make an impact anyway. They came up with this scheme where they would say that they were announcing the first Japanese player to be drafted in NHL history. They gave him a fake name. He used the name of some kind of Japanese, I don't know, deli, whatever it was that was in the Buffalo area. He gave him the name. He named him Taro Sugimoto. Sugimoto was the name of the place. Taro was the Japanese word for saber. It would roughly translate as that. And it went through the NHL. It was in the official NHL records that they drafted this Japanese player who didn't actually exist.
When did he get credit for it? Did he fess up to it right away? Be like, hey.
I think he did.
Okay.
I think he did, and they didn't get any trouble for it. And he became known for these pranks. It seemed like it was a different one every year as long as he was with the team. It was always up to something. What's he going to do this year? And he would tell you, or anyone who would ask at Bonaventure while I was there, he would happily tell all those stories.
Sounds like a good guy.
He was awesome.
So it sounds like two of your, so-and-so mentors, John Watson and Paul Whelan, they've moved on. But what have you, besides the pranks, what are some things that you've remembered that you've taken into your careers now? It's a loaded question. Either, what you do or in general, a characteristic of them.
Some of the things I learned at Bonaventure were about ethical journalism. That was probably the number one thing that they wanted you to learn from that program. I've tried to take that with me every day at 13 Wham now. A lot of people don't trust the media now, and I understand why. I've tried to do everything the right way, tried to present everything fairly in my time there. That was the main thing I learned at Bonaventure, and I've tried to pass that along to my younger colleagues now. I think that was the main thing.
Powerful. So you are the content manager. So you also say that you work with editing information that comes in from reporters.
Yep.
So you know all pretty much the on-air reporters then too there. Yep. In the ethical journalism, that's a powerful tool. How do you feel in your role when you witness, I hate to say it, but other journalists maybe aren't holding to the same standard that you do?
It's frustrating because everyone's trying to get a leg up some way or another, and unfortunately, a lot of times it's cutting corners. And it's frustrating if you see someone who gets it first before you do, but something's not adding up. They're missing an important detail. It's frustrating, but I think over time, it hopefully at least evens out where they see you doing it right. They see you doing it the right way enough times over and over and over that they'll trust you in the long run versus, maybe a short-term loss. You mentioned something about people have tendency or they're a little squeamish about not trusting the media. Are there other things that the media themselves can do? You just mentioned something very powerful about if you do it the right way enough times, maybe they'll start to see it. Are there any other things that you can say? Like, do you have to, I don't want to say this, but like sometimes do you have to face a consequence? Yeah, people don't want people to get fired or anything, but right. Yes, sometimes people aren't going to like the way you report, and it's something I struggle with every day too. Like, should we report this? Does it need to be reported? It is news, but do people need to know it? Yeah, it's tough sometimes, but you just have to use your best judgment. And I've got enough. The people around me trust me enough, which is good. That's good. So even if that media has they trust Tyler Diedrich. President Barack Obama, he used to say, if it bleeds, it leads. Yeah. And fortunately, it's probably true. It is, because sometimes you watch maybe the local newscast, and unfortunately you're catching some of those accidents and stuff like that. Yeah, try my best to make it so that it's not just a crime blotter on the front of our page. That is what people click on, though, more often than not.
How do you, I don't know, there's so much social media between Facebook and X. How do you know, like, I can go to this site, this is a feel-good story, and then flush it into your website?
I kind of, for those, I kind of trust the people around me, because they'll bring these, the reporters will bring these ideas as a story, and I'll let them take care of that, and I'll just kind of go back and edit some of the finer details of it. But if I see something out there that's, syndicated nationally that I think people will want to see, then I'll share that on our website and on our pages too.
Yeah, because a lot of local news, you see, this, you get the weather, sports, and then it's always nice to end that with a feel-good story.
Every night, Don Alhart ended the 6:00 broadcast with the bright spot. It's a great way to end the newscast every night. I think a lot of people look forward to that.
Now, you were talking about doing editing for the website, and is that, like, when you say editing, the text, or is it also video?
Yeah, I mean copy editing mostly. I do a little bit of video editing, very basically, if I'm making a video for YouTube. It needs a little bit of work. But yeah, when I say editing, it's proofreading. Other people might think of it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you do much revision then, or do you just pretty much check the commas and the periods?
Yeah. I fully rewrite something sometimes if I think it doesn't, because the way you write for TV is different than the way you write for the air. So I kind of translate it sometimes from TV to.
When you were at Bonaventure, did you take certain courses for television writing versus text writing for let's say a newspaper or something like that?
Some of the first few classes that they have you do in that program is writing and editing. So you learn how to do it that way first, how to just basic news writing for print. I guess that's the basis of everything. When you get older, you take the broadcasting classes. They teach you how to tailor that writing for TV.
And did you have an easy transition with that, or was it difficult for you?
Yeah, it was pretty natural to me. I think TV writing is easier because I tended to be very descriptive in writing for print, and then in TV you can be a little plainer, a little simpler. So it was actually easier.
Interesting. And then in Hilton, you graduated in 2008. How did Hilton prepare you for that journalism interest? Did it?
Fortunately, we had for a high school, a great broadcast program at Hilton. Bob Blake was the teacher at the time. I did that sophomore, junior, senior years. It was a great introduction to it. We have the Wave, the morning broadcast every day. Jay Clifford was my co-anchor. We had a lot of fun in that, and I did a lot of my own practice broadcasting from my home back then too. And we on the Wave, we had video segments that we would shoot during the week as well, that we would air them on the morning announcements. Unfortunately, sometimes we would have, it's only a 3-5 minute broadcast right at the end of the first period of the day. Unfortunately, you'd have some teacher or Mike Jurizzi would come in and want to give an announcement and chew up all our airtime.
So, well, I think you already answered my question. For those that didn't go through high school and see the Wave or heard the Wave, you pretty much described it. Those video segments, describe, or for example, give me one that you did.
We did one that was called "Don't Be That Guy," and it was people walking around school, like being the guy who has to jump up and touch the overhang in the doorway, or that guy who has to knock someone's book out of their hands. We did a whole bunch of different, minor inconveniences that you would come up upon in the hallway during the day.
That's hilarious. And would you have the video segments where you'd show people doing those things?
Yes.
Okay. Now, would you catch them, kind of like candid camera, or would you like act it out?
We'd reenact them. Yeah.
Who came up with that idea?
Probably a collection. It was, me and Jay, Joe Peachy, Colin Walker, Ryan Bacchus, Mike Vowles were some of the others in class with me at the time. I'm trying to remember what else we did. We had a lot of fun, and I've got some of the videos somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd like to see them. I think that's a great idea with the wave. Bob Blake, is he still teaching at the high school?
No, he became an administrator. He was out in Leroy for a little while. I'm not sure if he's still there or if he's retired yet, but I know that he had moved on to an administrator role. Yeah, last I knew it was at Leroy. I don't know where he went.
So with the wave, was that like on camera or was it more also radio type of thing?
It was all on TV. It was the morning announcements in front of the camera, and then we would fill in blank spots with these pre-recorded things sometimes too.
It sounds great. And there was a particular course that you guys would also, and girls would take?
Yeah, so it was I'm trying to remember what the actual name of the course was, but it had broadcast in the title somehow. Okay. But yeah, it was your first period class, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. You had Thursdays off, and they would just have whoever was around to come in and do like a skeleton crew broadcast of the announcements for that day. But yeah, it was a full class first period, and then the last few minutes of it were the actual announcements that would go out over the loudspeaker, and then you could watch on TV also.
That's great. And so every room was suited with a television then?
Yep.
Nice. Tell me also more about your days at Hilton High School, that 9th through 12th grade. Maybe some of those teachers that had a positive impact or motivated you to where you are today.
Yeah, I think I had a lot of great teachers. I had a blast. I loved my time in high school. All my best friends are from there. I think of Coach Lapani right away. I mean, nothing beat gym class with Coach Lapani, Coach Foreman, whoever else was there at the time. That was like the highlight of my day whenever we had that. I think of Mr. Childs was my physics teacher. He was great. I had Mr. Farnham was one of my favorite teachers.
God bless him.
Yeah. Who else? Oh, Mr. Rallier, Mr. DeAugustine. Could go on and on. I had Mrs. Farrell for math for 2 years.
So you liked school?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just something you had to get through to get to the afternoon fun stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could have studied more, but yeah.
I think we all could have, right? You did well on your SATs to get into Bonaventure?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well enough, at least.
Well enough. Did you play any sports or were you in any clubs?
I just did football. I mean, I did. I played a lot of other sports growing up, but by the time I got to high school, it was just football. We did CYO basketball through some of my friends and I through St. Leo's Church. That was fun too. But yeah, it was all football for me all the time.
What was your number in your senior season?
My jersey number 50 was my first 3 years of playing Hilton Raiders. Then came with you, the modified team, when they launched that, and got 50 back for 9th, 10th, not 11th, 12th grade. That was my jersey number.
What position did you play when you were a senior? Were you a lineman or?
Yes. Yeah. I didn't play much, but still have great memories, still think about it, still talk about it all the time.
Yeah, I think you do build a lot of friendships through that. And I think Coach Foreman and Coach Lapani, they are fun to be around, the weight room and everything like that. Those summer workouts maybe not be so much fun, but CYO, I've known a lot of people that are decent basketball players, but maybe they don't decide to go out for the school team, right?
Yeah.
But you play a ton of games in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who were some of your buddies that you played with CYO?
Joe Peachy, it was through his church. I'm a lifelong member of St. Paul Lutheran.
Me too.
He was from St. Leo's, so he had and Nick Fillion. We had Ryan Bacchus, Jay Clifford, Greg Earnhardt, Colin Walker, Jeff Stanton, Mike Crumlish, Corey Herman, Evan Bean, Joe Crumlish. Those were the main guys on our team. We actually, and then the year before that, we brought in some ringers. We had Alex Coffey and Matt Davis. Ryan Combs was a member of the church. That was a fun time. Less involved in school basketball. A lot of fun with Joe's dad, Big Scott, coaching us. That was a lot of fun.
Do you stay in touch with any of those guys you mentioned?
Yes. all the main guys. I know Andy Fowler talked about it when he was on with you, Team Stealth. All those guys, we still are in group chat all the time.
You mentioned some of those guys, Earnhardt, all those guys that they went through modified B football. Those were some good people to coach.
Yep.
Our teams were just huge, and it was kind of hard to get people in and out.
Yeah.
But the Crumlish and all the people, Peachy and everyone you mentioned, they were just good people to start a program with, and a lot of you guys went all the way up to varsity.
Yep.
So by the time you get to varsity, obviously playing time gets diminished, and we play 15 guys, but
yep.
Also, I remember, and I listened to your show a lot, almost every week, the 259 show. Talk to us a little bit about that's creation and what that show was all about.
So that was me. That was Joe Peachy. Andy Fowler was the head of that, the leader of that. Mike Vincelli, a few years younger than us. He's my brother's best friend. He's also become a good friend of mine over the years. But I don't know. I think we were at a Red Wings game one day, and we were just talking about it, and it came up, and we were like, yeah, we should do that, and we did. So we would have. It ended up being Andy running everything from his basement studio, similar to what you have here. Mike and I would join, and then Joe lives in New York City, so he would phone in every time we did that, or maybe sometimes not. We'd bring in someone to fill in for him sometimes too, and we would just talk about whatever we want. I mean, we had some recurring segments, but it was mostly just us rambling on for a while. Mostly me rambling on for a while.
No, but it was that that was pre ESPN. What's that show that's always on with Michael Wilbon and all those? But we were just pre-podcasting where you just get on and talk for 3 hours.
Yeah, it was just friends having a conversation.
Right, and to me, I that stuff appeals to me. You can just go around the house, put some headphones on. I remember you would talk about NFL, and you'd balance who's here. Talk to me about whose invention was what you guys would talk about food a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember one show, and I don't know if it was Andy or not, but you were talking about Chick-fil-A and how you enjoyed the service there.
Yeah.
And how they had the greatest ice. Were one of you more responsible for that topic of the food?
That was kind of I had a long running list of places we need to talk about. We all kind of decided on it, but Andy and I, before that, when we were in college, actually had a food blog for a little while, and I think that kind of carried over to the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Now, Tyler, I remember coaching you, and I always thought you were kind of quiet and reserved, but now I'm starting to hear more that there's a lot more in that head. It just sometimes didn't come out of your mouth, but you had it. And that's a compliment, by the way. Let's go back to your mom and dad, Jeff and Lori, and then tell me a little bit about your siblings. Or actually, first, tell me about your mom and dad and what they do for a living.
My dad's retired now. He worked at Kodak for 41 years.
Mm-hmm.
He just retired a couple of years ago. Started when he was 19. Works in the school district, central offices. She's in the Office of Instruction right now. Before that, she was the secretary to the athletic director. She started that job my senior year, which was when Mr. Juritzi started as the athletic director. She came on as the secretary. She did that for, I want to say, 6 school years, until my sister graduated. Then she moved over to central offices. So she's been in the school district now for, I guess, 18 years. And she had a previous stint there. She worked in Greece schools for a little while before that, too.
I usually get emails that I haven't returned my science kit from your mom. You mentioned about your siblings. Tell me about their names and where they reside and their families.
Yeah, my brother Jake, 3 years younger than me, so he graduated from Hilton in 2011. He went to Mercyhurst, and then he went to optometry school in Worcester, Massachusetts. He graduated there in 2019. So he's an eye doctor. He lives in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Oh,
quite a bit different from here, but or quite a ways away from here. But he's been married 3 years now. They have a son who's almost a year old now. My sister graduated from Hilton in 2013. graduated from Niagara in 2017. She just had her first child, a son, back in March. So we've got, and then my daughter is 8, so she's got all these little baby boy cousins right now.
Yeah, there was the next one. I didn't want you to think I was going to skimp out on your immediate family. Tell me a little bit about your wife and daughter, Natalie.
Yeah, so I met my wife at Bonaventure. We didn't start dating until after we graduated. So fall of 2012 is when we started dating. We got married in August of 2015. We had our moved back to Hilton in September of 2016. And then 1 year later, our daughter was born. And now Amanda is on the school board. I'm coaching Natalie in soccer. She's playing some other sports too, which is awesome. And
what's your wife do for a living?
she's a technical writer.
Technical writer. So the journalism gene is just
Yes. Yeah. So she was in the same program as me at Bonaventure. She did a little bit of journalism after graduating, did some PR, and then got into technical writing. So she works for a company that's, I want to say, is based in Utah. She works remotely with people from all over the country, all over the world, actually. I guess the best way I could describe that is writing for things that you would see in a manual, directions for anything. So,
Mm-hmm. How did you met at Bonaventure, then how was that first date? How did that come about?
it was at the Apple Fest.
We just did our last podcast on the Apple Fest. Tell me a little bit about that. Did you meet at the apple pie booth or where?
No, she came to my house first.
Okay.
My parents' house. So yeah, come to the Apple Fest. You can stop over to our house first, and then we can drive over from there.
Okay.
And we met some friends there too. So it wasn't anything. It wasn't too awkward or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Bought her some apple crisp. She liked it, and I said, "Hey, maybe we can go somewhere else sometime." Sure.
And then it led into a relationship, a marriage, and now you got a child. And then she just recently got elected to the school board.
Yep, just back in May.
And did she always want to get on a village leadership type of thing?
No, I don't think so. But she had some people approach her and say, "I think you would be a good candidate for this."
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and she was looking for some way to get involved in the community. And she's like, "I think this is the way I can best do that." So,
well, good for you, and good for her, and good for you, because you've been involved in the community your whole life. Mm-hmm. And you said that you're coaching your daughter in soccer.
Yes, Hilton Heat. We're U9 now. Just completed our first season. We were undefeated in the regular season, and I had a blast. It's some of the most fun I've ever had doing anything.
And she's 7?
She's 8. She's
turned 8. Just turned 8. And you do live in the village as well, right? Okay. Well, good. I wish you many more years in that as well. And I wish your wife good luck on the school board. We need good school board members, being a teacher myself. Going back to, you're a senior in high school. How did you, what colleges were you considering, or was it Bonaventure all the way?
No, I mean, I always wanted to go to Syracuse, actually. I mean, my dream school was Notre Dame, but that was unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
But I always thought Syracuse would be a good one. But once I visited Bonaventure, which is, it's much smaller than Syracuse, I thought that was a better fit for me. I don't know that I would have done well at a big school.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't but when I visited Bonaventure right away, I liked it. It ended up being the only school I applied to, actually, because when I did apply to it, I got in right away, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be it. So I didn't even bother applying anywhere else.
And you went through that school in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, my daughter's going to Bonaventure, and we fell in love with the area too.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like a good, it's big enough, but not small enough.
Yeah, and there's not a ton around the school, so you become friends with everyone there. It's very tight knit, small group. And I heard an interview that your daughter gave recently comparing Hilton to St. Bonaventure, and agreed with a lot of it.
Sure did. Were there other students from Hilton that attended Bonaventure during your years?
Joe Peachy.
Joe Peachy?
My best friend. Yeah, from my best friend from high school. We went to college together. We roomed together first 2 years there. And he became an RA. So then I went and lived in a single room for the last 2 years, but we were still together all the time.
And where's Peachy now?
New York City.
New York City? Yep. What's he doing?
He's a teacher. He teaches high school history.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Hi, Joel. I hope you're watching the podcast. So when you went to WHAM, I think you might have answered this but I'm going to ask it again. How did you rise to the position of digital content manager?
I was just a producer for started in 2012. Was a producer for, like I said, 9.5 years, and then it just so happened that finally a position in the digital department opened up, and I told my boss, like, I want to do this, and she said, yeah, that'll be a gregreat fit for you. So I got that, but unfortunately, we were dealing with a lot of turnover at the time, so I had to wait. I had to keep producing for ended up being several months until I actually got to take on this new position. Then as soon as I did, it was a digital, what was the position called? Digital content producer, which was underneath the digital content manager. And then the manager left shortly after I started, and then I kind of just assumed the role, and then they said, and then eventually they gave me the permanent position. So this was about 3 years ago now. A lot of early mornings though led up to that, and overnights, some weekends for when I first started for a little while too. Now my schedule's great though.
Got a good schedule for
Yes.
for family time, coaching soccer time.
Yeah, fortunately this position has some flexibility that I can do all that.
Talk to me about the platforms and what are the more popular ones these days?
TikTok, Instagram are probably the two amongst younger people, even though I'm not very savvy with those. But we are working to improve our presence with that. I mean, the TV audience that we focus on mostly is older, so we focus on our TV product, and then I would say probably our website, and then it's probably our social media. But we're slowly trying to improve those channels too.
How do you think artificial intelligence is going to affect the future of your job?
There are some ways we can use it now. It can be helpful, but going back to quality over quantity, that's a textbook example of when you're using that the way we can. It's more so about quantity, unfortunately. It can be helpful, but I think it has to have checks and balances if you're gonna, because you can use it to. I talked about translating what's written for TV to the web, and there are some tools you can use to do that, but it doesn't always pick up on every little thing. So I try to steer people away from it. But yeah, I don't know what it's going to turn into eventually. I'm sure they're going to try to out of necessity force more on us, but I'm going to try to keep doing things the right way as long as I can.
I was listening to a podcaster once, and probably maybe 6 to 8 months ago, and this podcaster said he has a fear that AI is going to replace all newspapers. Is there any truth or validity to that, or you think that's just kind of hyperbolic?
I think there is probably some truth to it. I mean, you already see it. There's media organizations all over the place that are relying on it more and more and more. I don't know what the full extent of it is going to be, but yeah, I'm sure you're going to see in more places starting to lean into that more.
Because I do know that it's become less and less of people that get that physical newspaper. Yeah. Maybe they get it on Sundays and they like the ads and whatnot.
Yeah.
If you're checking sources, what's the most surefire way that you got a story correct and the facts are true?
As long as you're getting it from a source who people trust. So whether it's the police, I mean, that's where we do so much crime reporting. We go through police for most. I mean, the best thing obviously is from your own two eyes, but we can't be everywhere, so we have to rely on those sources. So yeah, it's just a matter of being able to trust who your information is coming from and hoping that your audience will trust that too.
Well, everybody's got a cell phone. Do people try to send you a lot of cell phone footage and so you can put it on your website or whatnot?
Yeah, there's a decent amount of that too. So we have to try and verify that too to make sure. Like you probably saw the
Panther
videos.
Yes.
Yeah. And I guess I still don't know whether that was actually real, but.
And then what is it like for a month afterwards? People are saying, "I saw the cougar here."
Yep. And
Could be a great hoax being played on the Rochester area. Going back to becoming a dad, we have some young fathers out there. Talk to me about becoming that father when that daughter came into the world. What was that like?
yeah, that was awesome. I mean, well, it was a big adjustment too. We were doing the podcast at the time, so it was and I was working early mornings, so it was a bit of an adjustment to that. Trying to have a social life between having a daughter, working the shift that I did, that was difficult for a little while too. Um, but I was always excited to see what activities she would want to get into. And fortunately, she likes sports, so we've been able to bond over that. It was something I always wanted, and now we're living it for real, and it's just been awesome. I always try to include her whatever I'm doing if I'm watching a game. You'll see me down on the sidelines during the football game. She wants to be there with me, so she'll assist me.
Does she ask for popcorn at halftime?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not popcorn, pizza usually, but yes, yeah. We got to run over and get some food at some point, and then she'll want to start taking videos for me, trying to entertain her while working.
Do you see a future journalist in her?
Maybe
Whatever she wants to do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What did you learn from your mom and dad that helped you becoming a father?
They were just always there for us, always taking us wherever we needed to be, always allowing us to have our friends over, dropping everything at a moment's notice to do whatever we needed. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what exactly they did, but it worked. They did a great job with all three.
Mm-hmm. So they also babysit for you?
Yeah, when necessary. Yeah.
Well, good. How about some advice to a young parent? Because you're young,
Yes.
according to me.
Yeah. You just have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to, I guess, you can't do everything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pick and choose. You might have to cut some things out that you don't want to. Some things will just come naturally. You just have to be patient and never waste a moment, because there's times where she'll want me to do something and I don't really want to, but it's like, yeah, someday you'll want to have that back, so I always will do what she wants.
I really like that. Never waste a moment, because they're young once.
Yep.
Wise.
Yep. And I only have one, so I really can't waste a moment.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I very well could be in the exact same spot I am now, and
Happy?
that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've never had a better work-life balance than I have right now, so I'm content with that. If my career leads me somewhere else, then so be it. But hopefully, I'm still coaching the soccer team, and she's playing sports for the school at that point. Hopefully, and hopefully the school board's going well for Amanda. Let's see.
Have you put a basketball in her hand yet?
Oh yeah,
or?
she's starting select basketball next week.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. And so play soccer, basketball.
She does flag football too.
And that's up and coming sport too.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's going to be in the Olympics in 2028.
Yep.
How do you describe Hilton to your outside friends, like those that don't reside in the area? How could you describe it, maybe in 3 words?
It's a small town that punches way above its weight, because while the town itself is small, the school district is huge, and tight knit. And when I was in college, my senior year, my capstone project, I did a documentary on the 2008 Hilton baseball team, which went to the state Final Four, which was my classmates. And the start of the documentary was more so outlining to everyone what Hilton is, what it's all about, and that's kind of what I said. Small town, but it feels bigger than it is. Talked about the history of the apples, and got into the sports program and the school. Like Mr. Juritzi said in the documentary, the school is the lifeblood of the community. I thought that was true, and that video was basically me showing all my friends and whoever else watched it what Hilton is all about.
Well, I hope you got an A.
Oh yeah. I went above and beyond for that. I worked very hard on that my senior year, and I was really happy with how it came out too. It's on YouTube.
I'm gonna catch it.
It's called
What-
How About Them Apples?
How about what a title?
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it down. Of course, I could just watch it on this. Now, I think you should put a bumper sticker. Hilton punches away above its weight. I don't know where you got that, but that's outstanding.
Yeah.
Did someone else say that?
I've heard it used to describe other things, but that's an original right there.
Yeah, Hilton. I really, really enjoy that. So for the district, you pretty much work for the Hilton Athletics and do their X feed.
Yeah. So I had taken on a side gig, had stumbled into doing that for Irondequoit High School for a while. This was back in 2013. I was doing actually had a freelance gig for the Messenger Post media, like the Grease Post and all those town newspapers at the time. I was covering high school sports for them, and got asked if I wanted to help with the social media feed for Irondequoit. And then right after that, Mike Jaritzi said, we want to do this for Hilton. My mom was working, was his secretary. So he's like, I want you to do this for Hilton too. So I was actually doing both of those for a while. So it was the winter, late 2013 is when we started doing it for Hilton. So then my first football season was 2014. I would cover all the high school football games, did a handful for the other sports throughout the year as well. As the years have gone on, it's all football. And I'll pitch in on some other sports, if there's a sectional run or something going on at the time. I'm still doing that now.
I'm going to throw this out, but I don't know the answer. Have you received any awards for your journalism work?
No, not in college.
Yet. Tell me about the college then.
I was so they have the Hellinger Award at St. Bonaventure goes to the top journalism mass communication student. I was the runner-up for that. I won the award for the top print journalist, and I was the runner-up for the top broadcast journalist at the time. And I also won the Murray Scholarship, which is named after Jim Murray, legendary LA Times sports writer. They award $5,000 scholarships to students there's select schools across the country that participate in this. St. Bonaventure is one of them. There was an essay contest probably the end of my junior year. Anyone who was interested had to submit one. I won for Bonaventure, and it got submitted to the national organization and got chosen as one of 5 winners. So that was pretty cool.
Did you have to submit an essay or?
Yeah, and I wrote it about Paul Whelan, who I mentioned earlier, about his April Fool's Day pranks. That was the focus of my story for that.
You probably know. Is there any way that we could get that and put it in a link on my YouTube channel? And give you credit, of course.
Yeah, I'd have to look. I think it still exists on the internet somewhere. But
I mean, we're going to be in touch after this podcast because you've just given so many good things about Hilton and in your journalism attributes. One more serious question, then a couple fun ones. You got a high school senior out there that has journalism in their blood. They think they want to be a journalist.
Yeah.
Give them some pointers of what they could be doing now to help them when they make it to college.
Most important thing is just to read the news, whether it's the newspaper, or I mean, reading in general. Yeah, reading. I read a lot of news, read a lot of sports growing up, watched a lot of NFL films, which helped kind of inspire my writing style. That's the main one. And I guess, it's kind of a glamorous, people think it's a glamorous field, at least. It's not. I mean, you're not gonna get rich, but if it's something you love, it's something that's very important. If it's something you love to do, it was for me. It starts just from reading, I think, and understanding media literacy is important. I did a project on that in college. I think that's something that should be taught in high school, actually, because as the years have gone on, it's got even worse. Not necessarily our fault, but the people who run the media, just the way it's evolved over the years. I think, like I said earlier, people can't necessarily trust it like they could. But yeah, to anyone who wants to go into journalism, I'd say have a thick skin. Don't expect to get rich, but it's never boring. And it's a very important job.
Well, I do like it that you focused on reading and being and enjoying reading. Were you always an avid reader, or did you have to force you to, or you just like to read about, let's say, a topic of sports?
I didn't read a lot of books necessarily, but I read a lot of sports books. Yeah, I was just reading the newspaper every day, reading the sports section.
Coach Lapani, he's a great speller, and we joke back and forth. He's like, "Heist, can you spell that?" And I say, "Lapani, can you?" I said, "How did you get good at spelling?" I read the sports page every day. Okay, some questions I want to have. These are some fun ones before we wrap up. Do you have a favorite food?
I have a lot of favorite foods.
Yeah.
Love barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go wrong with pizza. I guess those are probably my two. Chicken.
Do you do the barbecuing at your house?
No, I don't. We don't do much grilling actually. But,
really?
Love to eat. Not a great cook.
That was my next question. Who's the cooker in the house?
Definitely Amanda.
Definitely Amanda. What's your favorite TV show or binge show? And it doesn't have to be present, but maybe you've watched it in the past.
Favorite TV show of all time is King of the Hill, which just came back recently.
Was Mike Judge, does he do the voice of the main character? Okay. I never I got into The Simpsons and then Beavis and Butthead and then Family Guy. Never made it to King of the Hill.
Yeah.
You think I'd like it if I like those other programs?
Yeah, it's a little more subtle than those ones.
I think I might not be enough intellectual minded for it.
Yeah, I think
smart enough is what I'm saying.
Growing up, it was always The Simpsons would be on, and then King of the Hill would come on after. I knew a lot of kids who would kind of tune out when King of the Hill comes on, but as you get older, I think you appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, maybe I give it a shot. Your favorite book?
My favorite book.
I mean, it sounds like you said you read a lot of sports.
Yeah.
Or genre, even. I mean, sports literature is genre.
I'm trying to think. I have read a lot.
We can go back to it.
One book that stands out, I guess, because I read a lot of like almanacs, like sports almanacs.
Just straight factual stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. But I read the newspaper a lot too.
I mean, as you think, I mean, I can with the way you've been talking, you were able to spit out years. 2016, this one, 2014. You do have a knack for dates, so maybe it came from that almanac reading.
Yeah. And from I had a book when I think I got it when I was in third grade that had a page for every Super Bowl, and I read it constantly and memorized every single Super Bowl. And I'd come home from school, the old Super Bowl highlights would be on TV, and I'd watch those, and I watched a lot of NFL films.
Well, it's incredible. You have that mind that can just get saturated. I mean, I'm a teacher, and we go from fictional reading in the beginning of the year, and then you slide into nonfiction, because children have a harder time with nonfiction because of the factual. But it seems like you have a pretty good understanding of nonfiction.
Yeah,
good for you. Yeah. Do you have a favorite quote? I mean, that quote
the Hilton quote.
The Hilton quote's really good, but
I just came up with that on the spot.
Punches way above its weight, and then you had How About Them Apples, your title of that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I really think both of them are bumper sticker ideas. How about a favorite athlete?
Dan Marino.
Okay, so we got a Dolphins fan in the house. Do you think the Bills have it in them this year? Or are you a Bills kind of like, because you hear so much about them?
I can't stand them, but I mean, how can you argue otherwise? I mean,
right. It'd be great for your content managing.
They certainly give us plenty of content.
Yeah, maybe they'll give you a trip to the Super Bowl. Do you have a favorite movie?
Rudy?
Yeah. Great movie. Do you know that the character Rudy he showed up in Aquinas for like a speaking engagement when my friend Kirk Groutman was there?
I didn't. No, but that doesn't surprise me.
Now, I'm not saying he went to Aquinas, and my friend Kurt, he said that when he did his speaking engagement, he ended with Rudy, the character, said, "I've always wanted to say this, no school tomorrow," because they were expecting a big snow day. My last question, and then we'll wrap it up. Anybody from history you'd like to have dinner with, either in familial relation or historical people? They could be alive or dead, really.
Yeah. Trying to think, because we did a top 5 of this on the 259 show.
259 show.
5 people you'd invite to dinner. I can't remember, but
Maybe I stole your idea. I did. So you can't think of just one? I mean, if you're Dan Marino's your buddy, but
I think of my sports heroes. I got to meet Rusty Wallace from working at Channel 13.
What are some other guys you met on your or women that are famous?
So I think so Rusty Wallace is probably the top one who people would recognize. I met Tim Meadows from SNL. Was in studio one day. The Sklar brothers, who probably not as many people would know, but might recognize the faces. But they hosted a show on ESPN Classic called Cheap Seats. When I was in high school, it was a show where they would watch old sporting events and kind of comment on them as they went along. It was a comedy show, and I got to meet them at work one day. That was cool. I'm trying to think if there was anyone else. Those are the four big ones. I mean, and just being around the people who are on the news, who your viewers would probably recognize.
Yeah, I mean, I think name one of the reporters that you work with.
Mike Catalana.
Yeah, because that's a celebrity, according to me and a lot of people watching this, right?
Yeah.
Name another one.
I mean, Don Eilhart.
Don Eilhart, super celebrity, right?
Yep.
He finally retired, right?
Yes, last June.
Amazing. How many years was it?
58 years.
58 years.
Yeah.
All right, so I've given you a delay process. Now you got to tell me, who from history would you like to have dinner with? And they have to pay.
They have to.
If you're really drawing a blank, I'll let it slide.
Yeah, I don't know.
No? All right. No particular event. I mean, your friend Joe Peachy would be ticked off being a history teacher that you can't think of somebody. Joe Rogan?
I'm trying to think back to who I said on that list at the time.
Oh, you're going back to the 259 program?
Yeah.
I mean, I was told when you're watching a podcast that as much as you think the silence is long, it's really not when you watch the podcast.
Yeah.
So if you keep thinking, it's fine. I mean, as you're thinking,
I think of some famous sportscasters who I would think of some of my favorites. Dick Enberg, who was a Buffalo native.
I had a guy on the podcast that said he wanted to meet Al Michaels, and that Al Michaels ate steak for dinner all the time.
That sounds right.
You know that? Okay. Did I give you enough time to think of one more person, one more broadcaster?
One more broadcaster?
Could doesn't have to be a broadcaster, but it could be a sports guy or woman or a news anchor.
Greg Gumbel is one of my favorites.
You can't get enough of him on NCAA basketball, right?
No. And his calling football was just so effortless. And he had a great voice. Those are a few that stick out to me.
Well, I think I'll let you off the hook and end it with Greg Gumbel. But Tyler, thank you very much for joining me on the Big H podcast. I call this one Talking with Tyler. I wish you the best of luck in your career and with your new family and your wife who's now on the school board and whatnot. I'll see you on the sidelines this Friday when the Cadets play at Aquinas, big game. If you like what you saw, subscribe to this channel and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss an episode. You can catch me on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or on X at Michael Heiss, all caps, on the Big H podcast. Thank you for joining us. And Tyler, thank you for joining me.
The Big H podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find